Yo, what's up, guys? To a brand new video, and today we are gonna talk about Transformers: Rise of Unicron, and I remember I did a video yesterday about GXK Supernova, but we know about Transformers: Rise of Unicron. We don't know when exactly the film is gonna actually come, but I saw some comments on one of my edits for Transformers: Rise of Unicron saying that the movie might come in 2026 September or March month. I'm not sure. I actually forgot, guys. I don't have a good memory. Forgive me. But I'm not gonna talk about the film. I'm gonna talk about Cliffjumper being in the film. Now, the reason why I'm gonna talk about just Cliffjumper, none of the other Autobots in the film, is because I feel like I have a theory for Cliffjumper and how he's actually gonna be part of the main film. So let's get back to the Bayverse side of Cliffjumper. Now, of course, Cliffjumper did not appear in any one of the films, and he's gonna appear in his debut of Transformers: Rise of Unicron. Of course, it's not an official Bayverse film, but it's a fan made. Since Bayverse is over, and we did see Cliffjumper in the Bumblebee movie, but of course, he bit the dust as soon as Shadow and Dropkick were introduced, like sliced into two. But let's talk about Cliff. So let's start off with Cliffjumper in the Bayverse continuity. He appeared in one of the first comics for the Bayverse. I think it was the tie-in movie comics, and in that he was part of a mission with RC, and he, Smokescreen, and Camshaft, and some others were in the planet of, I think it was Mars. And then Cliffjumper, he fought a lot of Decepticons. Actually, he fought off like tons and tons of Decepticons, and he also went toe to toe with Thundercracker. And I'll come to the point when I said Thundercracker. So he's gonna be in the film. I think his origin is gonna come here, like his mission with RC. So I think that's what they're gonna show in the Rise of Unicron, or that's what they might point it in the film. So Cliffjumper when he meets our new protagonist Max. So when actually in the comic, however, he was shot behind Starscream. Starscream shot behind him, and then he was like brutally injured, and then RC tried to like save him or something, but she failed. So I think that's going to be like a flashback of how Cliffjumper like trying to make his way to Earth. Because in the comics, however, Soundwave, I think it came in the second comic. He only spotted two Autobot bodies, which are not part of Cliffjumper at all. And so I think he must have survived, and I think he made his way to Earth. So I think this is what Cliffjumper's origin story is going to be in Rise of Unicron. Now let's come back to another thing. We all know for a fact. So when he makes his way to Earth, we all know for a fact that the creators of Rise of Unicron, he was the first Autobot to be introduced for the entire cast, and that Autobot thing they just did, like Autobots showcase behind the scenes video, and in that we know for a fact that he's in its Mitsubishi Starion form. So I think when Cliffjumper made his way to Earth, I think he must have scanned a new vehicle that was, of course, it's Mitsubishi, and I think he went on hiding because he was badly injured. And I think I know I'm just coming with the perspective that in the movie, like in Age of Extinction or something, I think he must have been swallowed up by cemetery wind or something, because you know for a fact that its Mitsubishi farm is like completely damaged, because as we saw when they introduced Cliff, so I think he is somewhat like that. Now, coming back to how he's gonna be in the movie. Now, I think the focus is gonna be on the chemistry between Max and Cliffjumper. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think Cliffjumper is gonna play a similar to how Mirage was to Nova. We know for a fact that Mirage was kind of like a show stealer, because in the entire Rise of the Beast film, Mirage was the one who was like one of the main characters, and we saw how his chemistry was between Nova. So I think there's going to be a similar sort of chemistry for uh, there's gonna be a similar sort of chemistry for Cliffjumper and Max in the film. Now, I feel like we all know for a fact that Scourge, like you know how Mirage tried to sacrifice himself for Nova when he fought Scourge. I think that's what's gonna happen in the Transformers Rise of Unicron, because the main protagonist is now with someone like Bumblebee or someone like Hound. Of course, there could be some interactions, but I feel like the main focus is gonna be on Cliffjumper and none other than Max. So that brings me to my second point. Now, Cliffjumper is gonna be like one of the main characters. Now, remember how I told to remember Thundercracker in mind, and here's what's gonna happen. So, in the comics, Cliffjumper fought hard against Thundercracker. So I think Thundercracker is gonna have this in mind. I don't know if the writers even know about this plot of the tie-in movie comics because it's actually not kind of like linked, but it should be linked because that's what's gonna explain the backstory for Cliffjumper and the other characters they're gonna introduce for the film. So Thundercracker, he's gonna have this in mind, and I think his main target is gonna fight against the young lieutenant himself, Cliffjumper. Now, Cliffjumper might do some sacrifices, or we might see a robot, or like you know how Mirage transformed himself into a tiny suit for Nova to use against the final battle. I think there could be a similar lead instead of directly killing Cliffjumper, because Cliffjumper is known for a lot of deaths, even if it's just for 5 minutes or like 1 minute and 12 seconds or something. He's known how quick he dies, but since he's going to be the main face for this movie, like a main character, I think they should not kill. Since this is also a fan made movie, I feel like there's a lot of chances that Cliffjumper could be alive, or not even like alive. He could like, there's no way that they're gonna kill him, because that might just ruin it. Even if they do it, they better do it somewhat like heart touching or something. So I think that's all I'm going to cover about Cliffjumper today, and I really want to see Transformers Rise of Unicron. As soon as it hits, it's going to be my top favorite movie to watch of all time for the fan made. It's also a fan made movie. There's a lot to actually expect here, so let's see how the movie goes. And I'm just really excited for the Decepticon teasers. For example, like Thundercracker here, he might get a new design. And there's also new introduced characters such as like Psychon or Rap Bomb, so we might see them. So that's what I'm going to cover about Cliffjumper today, and so see you guys. And shout out to the entire Transformers Rise of Unicron team to make the movie. They're doing real hard work, even if we can't like know. Even I'm impatient, but we gotta like be like patient enough to wait, and we gotta see how the movie even turns out. Of course it's gonna turn out to be a big success. The Bayverse still holds our heart, so I really think this movie is gonna be a perfect hit. And yeah, that's all for today. See you guys on a new video. Peace out.